The Singapore Grand Prix is just around the corner, and whenever we go to Marina Bay, one moment always gets brought up. Back at the 2018 Singapore Grand Prix during qualifying, Lewis Hamilton set a time of a 1:36.015, of course putting his car on pole position. Now ever since then, many have debated that that is the best qualifying lap of all time. So today I'm just going to take a look at why that pole position lap is so good, what makes it so good, and do I think it is the best lap of all time. So why then is this lap considered one of, if not the best qualifying lap of all time? One of the reasons I like to tell people is how poor Mercedes used to be at tracks like Singapore. Now during that time, of course, Mercedes were on a really good run. At the time, I think it was four World Drivers' Championships and 4 Constructors' Championships. So we lived through the Red Bull era of 4-4, and we were currently in a 4-4 with Mercedes looking like it was going to be 5-5. Now of course Ferrari were their nearest challengers, and at that point leading up to the Singapore Grand Prix, Vettel had just crashed out of the German Grand Prix and spin at the Italian Grand Prix. He did win at the Belgian Grand Prix, which is a very good performance by Vettel, but other than that he was on a bit of a lull form at that point. So Singapore was a track where Mercedes did struggle. I used to always look forward to the Monaco Grand Prix, the Hungarian Grand Prix and the Singapore Grand Prix, because I knew that it wasn't going to be a Mercedes 1-2 washout that could potentially be struggling, and you do have other cars in the mix for pole position and potentially the race win, like Ferrari, like Red Bull too. And during that weekend in 2018, Hamilton didn't top the time sheets at all in FP1, 2, 3, Q1 and even Q2. In FP1 he was in 6th place, in FP2 he was in 2nd place, FP3 was 3rd, Q1 he was 14th, he nearly got knocked out in Q1, in Q2 he went in 4th place, and of course, as we know, in Q3 he got on pole position. So during Q3, I think Kimi Raikkonen set the fastest point. He put his car in provisional pole position. At the very early stage, I think it was like 7 minutes in when I watched it back, he put in a lap time of 1:37.1, I think it was. And then not long after that, Hamilton came through with that incredible lap of a 1:36.015, well over I think it was like 1.1 seconds faster than Kimi Raikkonen, and everyone was just like, wow. I remember watching that live on the telly and I was just like, what on earth was that? Like, wiped the floor of the fastest lap so far. I think Kimi Raikkonen just set the fastest lap throughout the course of the whole weekend at that point. And then Hamilton pulls that lap out, and I'm like, where on earth has that come from? And nobody got near him. Vettel at that point on his first run was like 6/10 away from Lewis Hamilton. He couldn't get near him. Verstappen, however, he was the closest. He started that race in 2nd place. He was only 0.3 seconds away from Lewis Hamilton. So that was very impressive in himself, that the fact that this lap has been spoken about as arguably one of the best laps of all time, and Verstappen was only 3/10 away from it, so that was pretty encouraging. Another reason why I think this lap is so good is just by, if you look on the onboard, as to how hard Hamilton is pushing. He knows Ferrari have lost some great points in Germany, in Italy. He knows that, you know, you can't give up at that point, you can't slow down, you've got to make the best of what you possibly can. He probably knew at that point, before he did that lap, was, I'm not going to get pole position, but I need to get as far up that grid as I possibly can, and he extracted that and even more out of the car. He's an inch closer to the walls, and it's game over. Then fast forward a year, Charles Leclerc claims pole position at the 2019 Singapore Grand Prix, and his time was 0.3 seconds slower than the previous year's time of Lewis Hamilton, in a generation of cars that were faster than the previous year's cars, because 17, 18, 19 and 20 was probably the fastest generation ever of Formula 1 cars. They were just so scary. They were quicker as the years went on. So for the fact that the next year's car was slower than the previous year's car, just again indicates how good that lap is. And let's not forget that Ferrari at that point was very quick. They had a winless start to 2019, then after the summer break they won in Spa, won in Monza, and of course got on pole position at Singapore. And another lap that I like is Sebastian Vettel's pole lap in 2013, because he only did one run. Normally you do one run in Q3, set a time, go back in, change tyres, put more fuel in, then go back out and try and do it again when the track has got more grip. And then of course you can correct a few areas you might have lost 10th in that sector, 10th in that corner, 10th in that corner, and just sort of, you know, iron it out and make it that lap a bit better because they know everyone else is going to improve. Sebastian Vettel didn't. He set that time and went, yeah, that's good enough for me. I'm just going to sit out in the garage, and everyone else went out. Nobody beat him. And I think that's got to be up there as one of the best laps of all time. If you're that damn sure that you're like, right, that's as much as I can do. And for Hamilton to go back out, to think he can get more out of that lap, because I'm pretty sure if he knew that was like, that's me done, I'm not getting any more out of that. And if he had did that, I think the lap would have been praised even more so. But the fact that he went out again to try and improve his time, he wasn't even close on the sectors. I think he was 3/10 down in the first sector. I think it might have even been a second down in the second sector. I believe it. He was nowhere near that time. So what do I think then? What do I think about that lap? Is that lap the best lap in Formula 1 history? No, I don't think it is. I think it is one of the best laps of all time for points I've indicated before, of course. But the lap that I think is the best of all time, I haven't seen this lap, of course I wasn't alive at this point. I personally don't think you can never get better than this lap, and it is of course Ayrton Senna's 1988 lap at the Monaco Grand Prix. He was 1.5 seconds faster than his teammate Alain Prost. Now think about that, right? You've got the 1988 MP44, one of the best Formula 1 cars ever made, won every round except one that season, and you've got a teammate, Alain Prost, who at that point was a two-time world champion, a well-established driver, and one of the best in the world. And for him to be 1.5 seconds clear of Alain Prost in the same car, it blows my mind. Blows my mind to smithereens. I would love to have seen that live. Love to have seen it, you know, been around or been alive to see that happen. And even now, I just think like, wow. Like when I first heard about that lap, I was just in awe of it. I just wanted to know more about it. How did he do it? What did he do? But yeah, that for me is the best lap of all time. You will never ever get better than Ayrton Senna's 1988 Monaco qualifying lap. But Lewis Hamilton's, for me, I would say is the best qualifying lap in the 21st century, in my opinion. It is, alongside Sebastian Vettel's 2013 pole position lap as well. There is a couple of other laps that did spring out to me. I think there was that one where Fernando Alonso had a really good lap at the French Grand Prix. Schumacher had a couple of good laps in the early 2000s. So of course there is some other laps I might have missed off. I know not everyone will agree with me on this. That's the whole point in this video, sort of getting my thoughts out, hearing your thoughts as well. But that's my opinion anyways. I believe Hamilton's 2018 Singapore Grand Prix lap, qualifying lap, is the best of the 21st century, but it isn't the best of all time. That is my, like I said, that is my opinion. Anyway, let me know your opinion, by the way, guys, in the comment section below. Would love to hear what you guys have to say about this. I know everyone won't agree with me on saying Hamilton's lap is good in general, not just saying that it's the best of the 21st century. People will agree and go, I don't think it makes a top 10. Of course, not everyone's going to think it is the best of all time. People will say that, well, you might say, Senna's not the best lap of all time. I think it's this. I remember seeing this live and all that. So of course, let me know your opinions in the comment section below. But guys, thank you so much for watching as always. Of course, it has been a while since I've got a video out, work commitments and other stuff like that. I probably will just go back to the basics of just making a single video rather than taking too long and do news and all this, simply because of time. That's why. So I want to try and get more on a regular basis with videos. So I'll see what I can do. Hopefully I can get the odd video out here or there. We'll see what it does. Of course, follow the F1 Debate Show on Twitter as well. Links to all that will be down in the description below. But guys, thank you so much for watching as always. Please like and subscribe as well if you're new around here as well. Like I said earlier, comment below your opinions. But until then, guys, catch us later. Watch what you're doing, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.